everybody, and welcome to another episode of Insufficient Friends. I'm Kevin. She's Nikki.
Hi.
And Nick, how was your week?
It's pretty good. I went to, have you ever been to Worlds of Fun in Kansas City?
I have not. We always went to Six Flags in St. Louis when I was a kid. Or Sword City,
Yeah, a
because
lot
we're
of people
like
say that.
30 minutes away from Sword City. But
Yeah, I get that from a lot of people. But that's like our version of
yeah.
our theme park. Anyway, so they were doing a Halloween haunt,
Mm-hmm.
for the last couple weeks, and
Yep.
I think for like 2 more weeks here. And my Aunt Cindy took me. So I said I didn't have any
Nice.
shout outs, but I guess shout out to Aunt Cindy. Thanks for taking me. It was fun.
Okay, well, you gotta... Hold on. What the heck, Nick?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, that's not what I want. You gotta wait for
It's so
Okay.
good.
Okay. Holy cow. Shout outs. I guess we're starting with that.
Oops, sorry.
Thanks, Aunt Cindy,
We're
for
so
taking...
good at our job. Not even our job.
Yeah, no, this is a hobby, so yeah, we're not that good at
Yeah.
this. I actually do pretty well at my job, and Nick does too. But that's beside
Yeah.
the point.
Clearly, we should stick to our day jobs.
Yeah, probably. But anyway, yes, thanks, Aunt Cindy, for taking Nikki to Worlds of Fun for Halloween, because that seems like fun.
It was.
Silver City never really did Halloween. I don't know if they do now, but they never used to, really. They kind of just skip over Halloween. They do Christmas really big.
Yeah.
But I don't know that they really do Halloween. One of the biggest Halloweens that I can ever think of is Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios, which is like haunted houses and like insanely like over the top scares. Like they try to scare the crap out of you, whatever they do. But anyway, I've never been to that because I'm a chicken. I don't like haunted houses because I think anything can scare you. No, when something jumps at you, it can scare anybody. So I don't like the jump scares like that. I like creepy things. I like scary movies. I like creepy things. I don't like the jump out at you and scare you because, of course that's going to get me. Like, that's not, it's not.
Yeah, and that's what this
scary.
is. Like at the Halloween haunt at Worlds of Fun, they have like actors like sliding and scaring you. And then we went there. They have a bunch of different like haunted houses or mazes. So we went in the haunted corn maze, and it's just all jump scares.
Yeah.
And it's really funny. I've been to it several years, and so I know what to expect. But my Aunt Cindy got scared so many times. It was hilarious.
Yeah. When I was in college, we did me and a friend, because I worked at the student-run television station on campus, and we went to one of the haunted houses here in Columbia. It's moved. It's not in the same place, but it used to be called Necropolis. I don't know if it's still around or if they just changed the name or what happened, but it used to be right off of downtown. And we actually did an interview with the owner, and he took us through through part of the haunted house before it opened with all the lights on, so he could show off like how some of the stuff worked and all the fancy things with it. And it's really cool to see. I like seeing behind the scenes because I think that's interesting with a lot of things. But it's cool to see like that. I don't want the actual things happening to me when I go through the haunted house, though. Like, that's the thing. I don't like the jump scares. So, I'm a chicken. That's fine. It's fine to be a chicken. It's fine to be a chicken. Anyway, I have one shout out for this week.
Okay.
It is Michael Metz commented on one of our shorts this last week, a Dolly Parton short, which of course Nikki loves Dolly Parton. I like Dolly Parton. We all like Dolly Parton. And all it says is "I love you, Dolly Parton" with 2 hearts, with little bows on there. Is what it looks like. But
I also love Dolly Parton.
Yeah. So thanks, Michael, for commenting on the.
Thanks for commenting
on the podcast, or on the short, whatever you wanna do. But anyway, So that's it for shoutouts. We are talking about this week, Nick, aliens and UFOs and Area 51 because we're coming up on Halloween. Might as well talk about something kind of spooky and crazy. We started out with worlds of fun and theme parks, which I wasn't expecting, but that's fine. Whatever.
I never know what to expect with this.
Yeah, no, that's what makes it fun. But anyway,
Yeah, but Area 51 is always been interesting just because I love hearing what other people think are like conspiracy theories. We've talked about this before, like neither of us necessarily believe a lot of conspiracy theories, but love like reading them
yeah,
and like what other people think. It's like to me it's kind of a form of like people watching,
mm-hmm.
but like
It's more watching their
I don't
mind.
know.
It's almost like watching their mind versus them in particular.
Yeah.
But
It's cool.
yeah,
But yeah, so that's what kind of inspired. And I wanted to choose something that was for our topic that was like paranormal, but we've done so many like ghost episodes, but I don't
yeah.
think we've talked about
We haven't really
aliens
talked
in
about
Area 51.
we haven't really talked about UFOs in Area 51, but
Yeah.
Area 51
So
is always interesting. I remember a couple years ago, and I
mhm.
don't know how much you remember about this, but there was a whole like Storm Area 51 movement, which
Yeah.
I was it was interesting. I was a little concerned about people though because the military kept saying like don't storm, we will shoot you. Like it's not a place to
Yeah.
play around. Like this is a secured area. You will probably die. Like and I was concerned that
Yeah.
somebody might die trying to storm Area 51. Like
Yeah, because people are insane. And their
yeah.
official statement was like the US military is ready to protect its assets. And I'm
Yeah.
like, are these people not reading this statement?
Probably I don't know. I mean nothing ever happened, but it's
Yeah.
just like I the military can do a lot of things and I don't want to mess with it. So, it's just
Yeah.
like it's interesting, but Area
Hmm.
51 is kind of one of those like you can see like satellite images of it on Google if you look it up. It's a
Yeah.
big runway, it's a dried up lake bed and then a couple of
Hmm.
random shack looking buildings. Like you can't see anything cuz
Hmm.
supposedly everything is underground, which makes sense. But
Yeah.
um but
Yeah.
yeah.
So to give like a quick rundown, just in case anyone listening has no idea what we're talking about and doesn't know what Area 51 is, it was built in 1955, which also surprised me. I thought it was like newer. I don't know why, but
Mm-mm.
um it's Area 51 is just like a nickname basically, but it's
Yeah.
a highly classified United States Air Force facility within the Nevada Test and Training Range. Um and so it's officially called Homey Airport or Groom Lake. I think those are
Groom
like the
Lake is
official
yeah.
titles.
Groom Lake
But
is what
then
I
people
always
call
know it as,
it,
yeah.
yeah, Area 51 just because of, I think, the map coordinates or something. But airspace above it is restricted to all aircraft, both military and civilian, except like that training facility. And so it's always been like a topic of fascination for people
Hmm.
because of the different restrictions, just like any military base. People think crazy things happen there.
Yeah.
Um, but it after Roswell in 1947, a lot of people thought that this base specifically was used for like hiding flying saucers from the
Hmm.
general public. So that's why this like got a bunch of attention
Yeah.
more than any other
Which
random
I mean
military base.
kind of makes sense. It's not that far away. It was built
Hmm.
not that long after that happened and it's secluded and they're very
Yeah.
secretive about it. Like it's like, "Oh, well, don't, well, this doesn't exist. Don't come over here. There isn't anything here."
It's
Um
like the Wizard of Oz, like don't look behind the
don't look
curtain.
behind the curtain. Yes. Don't pay
That's a
attention to the
movie
man
I've
behind the
seen.
curtain.
I've seen that.
Okay, that's one of what, 10?
Yeah. Like 12.
Like 12. Oh, anyway. Yeah, it's just that makes sense that it would be associated with that. It would ended up being a very secretive place. I mean, it's one of the places that the US military has released the fewest details about over the years.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even acknowledge its existence for a long time. So, it's just,
Yeah. Yeah, and I think
yeah,
another reason why people think they're like hiding things there is just because they've seen so many like unidentified planes and things over the airspace there.
yeah.
But it's like if it's an Air Force base, that makes sense. But a lot of
Well,
people don't recognize the aircraft and or think it's extraterrestrial in origin. So it just helped that
so,
conspiracy gain more
I mean,
popularity.
my dad makes fun of me all the time for this because he makes fun of me for being too logical at times and not just being like,
Yeah.
oh, well, whatever, and thinking things through, which I don't, whatever. Anyway,
Hmm.
um, it, I mean, it makes sense. Not everything's going to be extraterrestrial. Like, if you, and we're going to get into other things here in a minute, but if
Hmm.
you're next to a secretive military base that is a testing ground, you would
Hmm.
think, okay, there's going to be things that people have never seen before because they're testing crap. Like,
Yeah.
it kind of
Yeah.
makes sense. Like, if you don't know, like, think about the B-2 Spirit, the like stealth
Hmm.
bomber, the big triangle looking thing.
Yeah.
That looks weird now.
It
And
does.
it's
Yeah.
50 something years old. Like, can you imagine what people
Hmm.
in the 50s and 60s or whatever thought when if they would have seen that flying over when they were testing it? Like, it's a big
Oh,
black triangle.
yeah, I for sure would have thought it was a UFO because it is
Exactly.
crazy
Yeah.
looking.
Like, it looks weird now compared to other planes. Like, there's
Hmm.
nothing else that really looks like it. So you see something
Yeah.
like that, it's going to be, you're going to think it's a
Yeah.
UFO. Like, it makes
And
sense.
I have a list here of like things that people think are UFOs but are actually like something else, like things that are commonly mistaken for UFOs. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously like new technology of military aircraft is number one
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because there are, just like you said, there's so many weird things. The second was meteor fireballs, which, okay, it's a meteor, I guess, shooting across the sky.
Yeah.
The third says lens flare. So I'm like, that's number three. What is number 16? There's 16 of these, and it's just like, what?
Lens
The
flare is kind of
moon
a.
is number four. So apparently people think the moon is
I
UFOs.
guess if they. Okay. Okay.
I don't, so.
Are you people
Yeah,
okay?
anyways, the list goes on, but yeah, military aircraft is number one because they're always trying new
Where's weather
technologies.
balloons on that? Because I figured weather balloons
Let's
would be
see.
pretty high on that list.
So six is oddly shaped clouds. Seven is sky lanterns.
Okay, that kind of
Military satellites.
sky lanterns.
Venus, this one is so not just the moon, but also Venus.
Okay.
Lightning, space debris. Weather balloons is number 12,
Okay. Space debris. I
which
could.
is seems like the most common.
Yeah.
Weather balloons seems like the most common answer.
Yeah. I feel like
Yeah.
military and then weather balloon would what it would be is one and two, but
Yeah.
I guess the moon is more confusing to people than I realized.
Yeah,
Um.
I guess so. So
Yeah.
I thought that list was kind of funny.
Um.
Yeah.
Anyway. Um.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's. I don't. I don't know. Like, Area 51
Well, do
housing.
you believe in aliens? Because we're talking about conspiracy theories and
Hmm.
things. Do you believe in aliens?
So, I guess that depends on what you consider it.
Hmm.
Because I think it's very it's almost impossible that in the vastness of space and all the planets and
Hmm.
stars and everything else that are in the universe that there's not something else alive out there. Whether or not
Agreed.
whether or not it's intelligent is another thing. Whether or not it's intelligent enough to come visit us from however far away it is another thing.
Yeah.
I have a ridiculous theory on this that I was going to ask you
Okay.
about. So and this is, I know it was like a question kind of type thing, but I want you to think about
Hmm.
this.
Okay.
So I've thought about this in the past that
Hmm.
people say, aliens are here, whatever, da 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 da. So we don't know of any technology that can travel faster than the speed of light to get here.
Yeah.
So, is there, and this brings in another whole conspiracy type thing, like whole nother thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a possibility that instead of UFOs being aliens, that UFOs are some sort of time travel by humans, us, from the future to now?
Mm-hmm. I
I don't
mean,
know if I heard that somewhere and came up with that. I don't really know where this comes from. I didn't look it up,
yeah.
but I've thought about this for a while. Like that would be that's an interesting difference from it being extremely intelligent other life forms
Mm-hmm.
than it just being like
Time
humans,
travelers.
time
Yeah.
travelers from a long time ago coming back to basically see or experience what's going on now. But I
Yeah.
don't know that
I
that's correct or not. Like,
yeah, I feel like I want time travel to be very real. I really do.
yeah.
Also, I just want to live in Outlander, and that's based on time travel. So that's a whole other thing. But I don't know that I believe that we are there technology wise.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It'd be us from the future.
Yeah.
Because obviously you're gonna,
But I don't,
if you ever get to time travel, if you ever get to the possibility of time travel, it's not now. It's going to be over time, and you
yeah.
have an infinite timeline or whatever to do that. But I don't know. Like I don't. It seems unplausible or unrealistic to think that you can travel back in time.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know why then, though, we would have so many stories of people being like traumatized by these alien abductions.
yeah,
I feel like if it was just time traveling, it would be not as like they probed me. It would be like they taught me something or
yeah,
showed
but
me something.
but hey, look at what we do to like mummies and crap. Like to like
Don't we
study.
just like x-ray them?
Well, but like to study them. I mean, we study ancient beings. We study ancient animals. Like we do that kind of
Yeah.
stuff to ancient people. They're just not alive. That's the difference, I guess. But
Hmm.
I don't know. That's. I mean, it depends on what. I don't know. It's kind of a.
It's an
Again,
interesting theory.
I don't know if it's.
I'd
I don't
have
know if
to,
it's really a actual thing. I don't have a clue. But
yeah.
it's a thought that I've had in the past.
Yeah. It's interesting. I I don't know though. I feel like for me,
Mm-hmm.
it makes more sense to my brain to think that aliens are like almost exactly what they think we are, or what we think they are, like beings from other planets, because our universe is so massive. There
Yeah,
has to be something else out there.
that makes
So
sense.
that has always made more sense to me. But it's interesting. I just don't know if I buy it.
Yeah. Yeah. I the idea of something being I get that. I mean, I say this, but time travel is a ridiculously far fetched idea too. But the idea of
Yeah.
something being able to travel vast distances like that is just boggles my mind as like because
Yeah.
we know to a certain extent we know what is in the vicinity of Earth, even in our solar system, for the most part, like there's not really
Hmm.
anything out there. But, you go along, the closest star to us, again, is over a light year away, which is a long flipping
Yeah.
ways if you're, like, that's
Yeah.
not a short distance.
Space
So,
is I don't understand because so much of it is like that where it's like gosh, it's so far away. It would take an infinitely long time to get there. And then we've talked about this before. When things are that big, I can't like wrap my head around it. Because we've
yeah.
talked about like comparing billionaires to grains of rice.
Hmm.
And like I have to compare it to something to completely understand. But space is one of those things that I just can't fully wrap my head around.
I don't think most people can fully wrap their head around, because the idea that it is that something is so far away that it takes
Mm-hmm.
light a year to get there
Yeah.
is crazy. Like something traveling that fast, or like, if you ever see a, well, you can't see them with the naked eye, but they've recorded them before. You see a
Mm-hmm.
supernova or a star explode or something like that. You see a
Yeah.
celestial event. That's something that has happened
Like a long
hundreds,
time ago.
thousands of years ago, but we're just now
Mm-hmm.
seeing it because that's how long it took for the light to get here. That's
Yeah.
insane. Like saying
Yeah.
that it's something that happened when the Egyptians were around or when dinosaurs were alive or something like that, and we're just now
Mm-hmm.
seeing it is ridiculous. I think it's
Yeah.
hard for a lot of people to wrap their brains around that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's always been like crazy that we can't explore more of space. But then I think, well, like there's parts of the ocean, many parts of the ocean we haven't even
Oh
come
yeah.
close to exploring.
Yeah.
So then that's also mind-boggling. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting for sure.
So I don't know how much you paid attention to this, but
Hmm.
The UFO stuff kind of picked up a lot a couple years ago. Do you remember that kind of happening? Like there was a big whole kind of uproar. It was kind of around the same time that
No.
the storm Area 51 happened. So, um, in 2021, I believe, um, the the U.S. the government launched an investigation into UFOs to start looking
Hmm.
more into reports, military reports, and things of they call them UAPs, unidentified anonymous phenomena,
Okay.
anomalous phenomena.
Anomalous.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
so UAPs is what they call them.
Hmm.
But so they've had from 2021 to 2023 to April of 2023, they had several hundred reports of UAPs, like the military
Hmm.
pilots. It's a pretty common thing apparently for pilots to see.
I've heard that. Yeah.
There was the Air Force had a project Blue Book that looked into them in the 40s, in the late 40s to the late 60s. And they recorded 12,000 sightings, more than 12,000 sightings over that time. So over the
Hmm.
20 years that this project was going, and 700 of them remain unidentified. So
Hmm.
after it was all done, after the report was done. So this is kind of a big thing that happened. You had Congress held hearings on these and talked to intelligence officials, former intelligence officials, who discussed
Hmm.
things that they had heard, things that they had learned from looking into classified documents, from being in the military. Um, and one of the common things, or one intelligence official said that one of the biggest concerns was a surprise of the technology. So, like, being
Hmm.
surprised that they were as advanced as they were, or possibly being, you know, unfriendly to people, which is, I mean, yeah,
Hmm.
that'd be a concern if all of a sudden we learned that aliens were not nice, and it was like
Yeah.
the movie Independence Day on here, and they all show up and try to kill us all. Yeah, that's not very fun sounding. But
Hmm.
it's so they did a bunch of they've done investigations. I don't think they've released all of the
Hmm.
reports yet. They might have released the final reports. There's actually a website you can go to called it's one website that the military or that the government set up a couple years ago to bring all of this information together in one place so people could look it up. It's the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office.
Oh, it's an actual office?
It's an actual office. The AARO. It is under the military and under the Pentagon, and you can look at a bunch of the reports, and they have videos on there from the unclassified reports. They have entire documents of their investigation, and their investigation found that there was no credible information that the U.S. has ever or is trying to recreate alien technology. That was what they mainly looked into, which kind of goes back to the Roswell thing of like, it crashed. We've been trying to replicate the technology from that.
Yeah, like reverse engineer it.
Yeah, which of course the government agency is gonna find that they're not doing anything if they're trying to do something like that's.
I wrote down in my notes. It's a stat about the government. A poll conducted in 2019 found that 54% of U.S. adults think it is very likely that the government knows more than it's telling about UFOs. And it's duh. They always know more.
Yeah,
it's the government.
And I understand, like, you start talking too much and people freak out. At the same time, you don't talk enough and people freak out, so you're kind of left in a lose-lose situation. Because if you don't, like Area 51 for, like we said, several years, they didn't ever acknowledge that the site even existed. So when you don't say anything about it, that just leaves people even more to speculate what it is. Rumors start growing, and then they become out of control. But I do have a video. I hope this will work.
Okay.
This is one of the videos from the resolution office, the AARO, that I pulled up. And let's see if I can share this here. Hold on a sec. So you can...
I'm excited.
We
never watch videos on here.
Audio for this as well, but I know you won't be able to hear it. But it's basically the pilots talking about what they're seeing. And I've seen this video before. You might have seen it. Where's the share button? Share. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like every once in a while a UFO video will pop up like on my feed as I'm scrolling.
Okay, can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the video. And it's a fighter, or it's a military plane tracking this object through the air.
Yeah.
And you see it traveling, and they're talking about how fast the winds are and how it's kind of flying at a weird in a weird way. And then towards the end, you actually see it, and they talk about it rotating. And here in a second, you'll see it actually kind of twist. There you can kind of see it a little bit. It kind of rotates the direction that it's moving, which is interesting. And I don't...
Yeah, it does twist at the end there.
It does twist at the end. There's another one.
It doesn't look like a plane.
It doesn't look like a plane, but it's also a long ways away, so it's not... It's not really...
It looks like a top. Like it's got the circular and then the pointy bottom. It looks like a top, literally.
Yeah. And then there's this one, too, that's another popular one that they show. And I'll pull this one up here for you, too.
Yeah. You'll have to send me these so I can post these.
Okay. So this is the other one. This one's just called Go Fast is what it's called. But if you watch it, you can see like the thing fly across the screen really quick. You can kind of see it in the middle. And then it kind of moves, and you see it again. And eventually, they locked onto it and could and kind of were able to track it right there. You kind of see it lock on, and it's tracking it. And it's traveling at a high rate of speed, which is why it's called Go Fast. But I know I've heard somewhere how fast this was going. I don't remember if it says it on this screen, but it's just kind of like crazy because there's been so many pilots report unidentified objects, not knowing what they are. It's just such a common thing that
Yeah, it would
shows
be
up
weird
around.
to be a pilot and see. I feel like I would feel so like isolated. I would start thinking like, oh my goodness, there's so many things out there and I am all on my own here. Like
Hmm.
I feel like I'd be scared if I was a pilot for sure, but I'm sure they all have stories and tell each other these stories about the different things they see.
Yeah. And a lot of, and like
Wild.
these two, you can hear two of them talking because it's a
Mm-hmm.
crew of two in one of the fighters, the Navy
Yeah.
fighter jets. Um,
Wild.
but it's just those are probably the most common videos that people have seen, and they're the best. I looked through a few of these, and these are kind of the best that shows that
Mm-hmm.
you can kind of see something in. And we'll
Yeah.
post down below. We'll post the link to this website.
Yeah,
So
because that's interesting.
if you want to look at the records or whatever, you're more than welcome to. This is
Yeah.
all public information. You can read the reports and look at all of it and everything else. But yeah, they're
I feel like I don't know how people, well, obviously pilots are a different story because they're flying in the air. But as pilots too. But like just normal people, unless I guess you just sit outside every night and are looking at the sky. I mean, I maybe it's because I also don't go outside very often. But I'm like, wow, I would love to see something in the sky, but I guess I don't ever think to look at the sky at
yeah.
night.
I mean, and it's not always at night too. Some people see them during the day.
Yeah.
You see lights over in a distance or whatever, and
Yeah.
you wonder what that
I
is.
guess
So that
another common one I've like read scary stories about is when people like are missing time in their day.
hmm
So, and I think this was an X-Files episode too, but I've read other stories about it where people are like, I was doing something and then all of a sudden it was like 2 hours later and I was
yeah,
still doing the same thing, but I lost
I don't
time.
know
Or
what
they're
happened.
driving,
Yeah,
they look at the clock and it's like 2 p.m. and then they're on the same road, haven't really gone that far, but all of a sudden it's like 5 p.m. and they're like, where did that
yeah.
time go? I've heard that one, but that's never happened to me.
That's no, I've never had that happen. That's an interesting, or I don't remember ever having that happen. I don't think it's
Hmm.
ever happened, but that's an interesting thought because it's yeah, that would kind of freak you out if you're just like, what? How
Yeah.
did it all of a sudden pass a couple hours
Hmm.
and I'm in the same place, but I don't and doing the same thing because this shouldn't have taken me that long. Why is this?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And then to have no recollection of what happened in that time.
yeah.
Yeah. It's
Um,
definitely interesting.
yeah, it is an interesting thing. And one of the other things that this report that I was looking at, or one of the other things that they found when they were looking at these, is there's never been one of the things that one of the investigations looked into was concerns that they may be like a problem,
Hmm.
like UFOs or whatever. But there's never been um, any reports of the UFOs interacting with whatever's looking at
Yeah.
them. So like these jets or whatever, there's never been any reports of them interacting with them, getting in the way of their flight, like flight
Hmm.
direction or anything like that. So it's also interesting that happens. Like if you've had however many thousands of sightings, they're always
Hmm.
just kind of there. Um they're never
Yeah.
interacting with
They're just like
anything.
doing their own thing
Yeah.
or observing you, maybe, but
Yeah. Which
yeah.
is interesting. Like
Yeah.
it's a very weird,
Hmm.
just in general, it's just a very weird topic and a
Yeah.
very, yeah, there's
I
so,
have a question for you.
okay.
Were you done with
No,
the
yeah,
report,
yeah, I'm good.
the government report? Okay. So if an alien like visited you
Yeah,
and like an ET situation, like
okay.
not someone trying to abduct you, but like in a visitor from outer space and
Mm-hmm.
they were visiting you, and what would you show them and what would you like talk to them about?
Hmm. Never thought about that. Um, I don't know what I would show them because that doesn't like. I guess the first thing I would probably talk to them about is like where they're from and how they got here. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's the number one thing I want to know is like where did you come from
Yeah.
and how were you able to get here? As far
Mm-hmm.
as showing them something, I don't know. I mean, the
Mm-hmm.
best thing to show them, I guess, would be something with history, is what I would guess. But
Yeah.
I don't really know because if they're that advanced, you wouldn't think that anything we would have would be that interesting. Because
Yeah.
anything that but it's hard to say. It's hard to say what you would show them. I guess it'd be what do you want to what are you interested in? Like what are you here trying to figure out? That would be another
Yeah.
question. Is like what are you here trying to figure out? Is there well first off, like I said earlier, I'm a chicken. So, I'd probably be flipping the something out
Mm-hmm.
majorly and not know what to do.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah. Like besides,
but
freaking out
if I
and
could get
asking
past
them.
that and they
Yeah.
were friendly,
Mm-hmm.
then it'd probably be like, yeah, where are you what how did you get here? Where are you from? Like
Mm-hmm.
what are you why are you here? What's the
Yeah.
point? What's the end goal? And
Yeah.
what do you want to know? Like what do you want to know?
Yeah. I was thinking about because I don't know if you had ever seen this trend because you don't really scroll endlessly like I do. But there was a trend that it was like any historical figure and it'd be like, what would you show King Louis nowadays that would just blow his mind? And then I was kind of thinking along the same lines. And I was like, of like American culture would you show an alien that they'd be like, where the heck am I and why am I here? I was thinking um Jersey Shore, the TV show.
Okay.
And then like places to take them. I was like trying to think of like stupid things that we've come up with. And I don't know why this was my first thought, but Lambert's Cafe, where they just throw food at you
Oh yeah, that'd be
or
fun.
throw the rolls.
Yeah.
I was like, that'd be one that's like because even I ask this, I'm like, why? Why does this exist?
Well,
But I was trying to think of things like that you're just like, why are these?
yeah, that makes sense. Like why is this
Mhm.
here? Um
Yeah.
yeah.
There's a lot of like shows that I think sum up a lot of the like stupidity of American culture.
Yeah.
Like Real Housewives and things.
Yeah,
You'd
this
show that
is
to them and
just the
they like their brains would blow up or something because it's like
stupidity of
so dumb.
yeah, just the stupidity of people in general. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I don't know. That's not something I've ever thought about. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess, yeah, like I said, I guess it'd just be like, where are you from? Why are you here? How'd you get here?
Hmm.
What, and
Yeah.
what do you want to know? What can I try to tell you or try to help you understand? Because
You want to go to McDonald's?
yeah, sure. Let's
Yeah.
go to McDonald's. Let's go get some chicken nuggets. You can't get a quarter pounder right now because those have been making everybody sick. So that's what.
Hmm.
But
Yeah. I don't know. I was just thinking like because I haven't even seen E.T. fully, the movie, but I've seen like clips. And then I was thinking about, I know. I was just thinking
really,
about like if I had this alien with me for a day, what would you do? And I would try to find like really funny or stupid things to do,
you've never
probably.
seen
But then
ET
if
all
I
the
was
way
thinking
through?
about the serious side, I'd take them to uh, like let's say money and flights and things were not an
Well,
issue.
they obviously flew here,
Um,
so flying's not an issue.
yeah. Well, yeah. So if we could borrow their UFO, but we were staying in the United States, I feel like I'd take them to like the Smithsonian's or something, like something educational if they wanted to know more about our history and natural history or,
Yeah.
living history. Yeah.
The only concern with that is
Hmm.
if they're here to study us and figure out weaknesses, then you're just showing them all the
Hmm.
weaknesses.
Yeah, but no, I wasn't. I was thinking I just have a little ET. I wasn't thinking I'm gonna show around this super scary villain.
Oh man. Um,
I live in my little princessy, everyone is nice world most of
I
the time. So
hey,
I was
you
thinking
know,
like a little nice little cutesy alien.
yeah, there yeah, I mean, there's it yeah. I don't know. It's I don't know that anybody would really be able to get past the whole freaking out when it happened. So I don't,
Yeah,
I think you'd have to be a very calm person to be able to get past the holy crap, you're an alien.
yeah. Hmm.
You're not from this world. Um,
Yeah. And my mind would immediately jump to no one is going to believe this.
yeah.
Like even if you take pictures, videos,
Yeah. Well, because,
even if you go live on
yeah.
social media,
Well, because
like no one's going to believe you. So I would feel
everything's,
crazy also.
yeah. And everything that you do see like that is always debunked in some way, shape, or form, or
Yeah.
people that say they've been abducted or say that they've seen them
Yeah.
are
I
called
just thought of
crazy.
like you know how with different YouTubers and things, but they stream like on Twitch, like live
Mm-hmm.
when they're playing games or something. Like, you just go live on Twitch and you're just like,
Hey
this is my alien
guys,
friend.
hey guys, this is my alien friend. Yeah, I get
Yeah.
that.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't
Anyways.
I don't know. I think if unless you've got something else, I think it's time for fun facts.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Oh man. Okay. Anyway, um, uh, what is your fun fact for this week, Nick?
Okay. So mine's about Area 51. According to the CIA, the name Area 51 comes from its map designation, which we already talked about. But it was also previously referred to as Paradise Ranch in order to make it more attractive to those that would be working there.
Okay.
And then apparently that was then shortened to the ranch, but then its other nicknames were Watertown and Dreamland.
Sounds like they're
Like
trying to
those are
turn
the
it into a
worst.
theme park.
If someone from the CIA was like, "Hey, we're reassigning you. You're going to Watertown," and then you're in the middle of the desert or Dreamland, it's like, what? Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like they're trying to turn it into a theme park. Like it's not.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Um.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't even know. Uh. What. Yeah. How to say that. Um. Anyway. So there. This is one of those number things that nobody's going to understand because it's going to be too big of a number, but we're going to go with it anyway.
Uh-huh.
So,
Okay.
astronomers estimate that 40 billion Earth-like planets could exist in the Milky Way, just in our galaxy.
Uh-huh.
Um,
How,
huh?
how many grains of rice is that?
Hold on. How many? Well, I mean, it's 40 billion grains of rice, but
Well, I know, I was just joking because
rice
everything we talk
is
about when we talk about like
40
billionaires and
billion.
trillionaires, I have to think about rice.
Hold on. How much is 40? How much is a billion grains of rice? Okay. Um, that's not what I want. No, that's not what I want. Hold on. What?
You did not have to actually look up this answer.
It's not really helping me. Hold on.
Because I
Yeah.
guess the answer is it's 40 billion.
Yeah, it's 40 billion grains of rice, but I'm trying to figure out a comparison to that. I don't really know how much rice that is. Um,
Kevin, you could just ignore me.
anyway, yeah, we're just gonna ignore that. They apparently came up with that number after detecting 40 or 3,800 exoplanets in our
Hmm.
nearby areas, and then scaled that up to the galaxy. So, like just looking at areas right around us, they scaled it up. But that's a lot
Yeah.
You gonna be okay?
Yeah, just picturing rice.
Oh man.
All good. Yeah, that's interesting.
Oh man. Okay.
Very interesting.
Well, here. Okay. Here. This will work. So. Okay. So a
Yeah.
$40 billion bills. $40 billion in $100 bills. Okay. Or is that right? Is that 40 billion hundreds or $40 billion in hundreds? A stack of 40 billion. Okay. A stack of 40 billion in $100 bills
Okay.
would be 75 miles high.
Yeah, I don't know what's
Is that helpful?
5 miles.
Oh, good Lord. Oh, good Lord. Okay. 75 miles is...
I mean, I have to use a GPS
75...
to get 2 minutes to Starbucks.
Well, 75 miles is a little over halfway between your house and my house. Does that help?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. It's a little over halfway. Yeah, it's a little over halfway. A little over halfway between your house and my house. So it's about around a third, quarter to a third of the way across the state of Missouri along I-70.
A stack. Okay, yeah, that's a big stack.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot. Numbers are fun.
On that note.
Anyway, I think that's time to end.
I think I'm done.
Yeah, I think we're good for this week.
For tonight.
Anyway, yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, do all the things. Do all the things. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys next week.